We are Absolute Radio, and right now, you're listening to Frank Skinner's section of the broadcast.
Oh, it's not the Midweek Podcast from Absolute Radio. There you go, that's completely impromptu.
Got a nice little theme tune now.
We don't have... We should get a specific jingle for Not the Weekend Podcast.
Yeah.
Never even thought about it before.
Why don't we have one? Cutbacks.
No, it's never occurred to me.
Government cuts.
I mean, I'll see what we've got that might... So, it's Not the Weekend Podcast. To me, it drags it down.
It's really depressing.
Slightly contemplative, hasn't it?
It is.
I don't feel like I like to be that thoughtful during the podcast. I like to just talk without thinking.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's an element of Russian roulette about the Not the Weekend podcast, so I suppose it
brings
does.
the best out in us.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got your film mojo back, and I'm pleased for you.
And there are times when I have felt during Not the Weekend podcast that same feeling I see when I see a large grand stag felled by hunters. But something magnificent has died. Anyway, not very often though. Not this week, eh, missus? Completely ignored me. Okay, so yes, this is it, and I am Frank Skinner.
Hello, Mr. Radio.
Hello, Mr.
Still, we don't have time to just do jingle after jingle.
Oh.
I'm with Alan Cochrane, and and Emily Dean. There'll always be musical sheep now. That's all I can think of. Once you get an idea in your head. If you were walking through a field and about 12 sheep in a row suddenly turned, completely synchronised, and went... I don't know about you, I'd be quite frightened.
I'm going to arrange that as an entourage. They're just going to come round with me and do that now.
That's it.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a fleece.
Have you still got that ROC thing on last week? You had that on last week.
No, but it's here. She doesn't take it home, Maggie. I'm wearing, once again, the fleece of Maggie from Christian O'Connell's Breakfast Show. She just leaves it on the back of a chair, so when I arrive, the AC hits me. I don't mean Alan Cochrane. The air conditioning. And
then the OC hits you.
Yeah, I'm like, in a way, I'm like some sort of wolf in sheep's clothing in my RAC fleece. How about that?
I like the analogy, yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, they were a good band. Second album, I don't know. For me, it fell a bit flat. But, I think they did some work with Billy Idol, didn't they, on the West Coast? So... something beautiful happened to me this week.
Oh, Christina Aguilera.
No, I wish it was. Hold on. I'm reaching for my iPhone because I got a picture on here. I got a picture on here that'll bring tears to your eyes. I saw this week the best rainbow I've ever seen. I say this week, it's probably... I'll come to think of it now. It's probably about two Saturday. Anyway, it's a Saturday afternoon. And honestly, it blew me away.
The rainbow.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often.
Sounds like some extreme weather.
I don't know. I've never seen a rainbow and not mentioned it. Have you?
Oh, really? You tell people?
If I see one, I always say, "Look at that rainbow." I never see one and think, ever. I always have to. I get so excited by rainbows, and in my life, I must have seen 4, 7, maybe. And
is that all?
No, actually more.
In that regard, they are a bit like wigs, though, aren't they? If you see a wig, you have to go, look at that wig. To whoever you're with, you have to point out a wig. Rainbows and wigs, they're
you don't see many wigs nowadays.
Not so many, but when you do, you tell whoever you're with that there's a wig around, don't you?
You do when you work with me.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought you were referring to the political party. I was going to say they're thin on the ground.
Thin on the head.
Yeah, they are very... No, but I love it.
Come on, get it out.
I even get excited if I see a rainbow in a puddle on a garage forecourt. You know, sometimes you see a petrol-simulated floor rainbow.
I know.
I like those, but this one, I've got a picture of it, and I always think this works well on radio. But I'll put it on the Webbo.
Oh yeah,
I can do that. Just take that in.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got it here.
You have to hold it
listeners.
side on.
Oh, that's magnificent.
Isn't that what a rainbow that is?
That's first class.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what's strange about it. Look, the curvature, it's very curved, and inside the curve, like below the curve, is all very light and sunny, and above it is darkness.
I actually think that's potentially award-winning. I'm not joking.
That picture.
I do. I think you should enter that. There'll be some Guardian website. They'll snap that up, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, natural phenomena.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is really good.
And there's a slightly urban landscape underneath it, which I like.
Well, exactly. Underneath, I tell you what, it looks a bit like the way it's lit. The dome of it is lit underneath and separating it from the dark sky. It reminded me a bit of the Pop-O-Matic dice shaker on Frustration.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
something that you could have drawn that
Boggle,
with a
I know that
protractor.
one.
Yeah, I imagine God's hand coming down and pressing it, and all the buildings shaking about and arriving in a different setup.
It's beautiful.
I've got a big Pop-O-Matic die shaker in my kitchen that I use for putting the flour on rissoles. I put the rissoles and the flour in there, and they flip. You know, they got no choice in a Pop-O-Matic, and it's great. But oh man, it's just fantastic. It's my best ever. And also, there were some secondary lines coming off it. I don't know if I magnify this.
Oh, what coloured lines?
So if you look, if you
like a tube map.
if you magnify,
Oh, hang on a sec, listeners. I'm just getting the iPhone. I've got it now.
if you make it full magnification, you see on the bottom there's like additional strips. I'll tell you what it looks like. You know the tops of Holly Madison's knee-length socks. Do you know Holly Madison?
Not sure I do.
She used to be one of the girls of the Playboy Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
Blonde. She's got her own Holly's World now.
Oh, yeah.
And she likes those tube socks.
Yeah, she does. The sort of high school socks.
I wear tube socks, but it's to stop me getting a thrombosis on a lot if there's more than 4 stations. But, you can see, you're going to pass it all around again. Everyone's desperately trying to look
It
interested
is
in my
amazing.
rainbow.
We should put it on the website.
I'm going to put it on the website.
Because
Oh, good
otherwise,
boy.
this is going to be one of the strangest podcasts to listen to. It's just a load of people talking about a picture.
No, but it's a
that
good.
they-
I like a nice piece of natural phenomena.
Well, I'm
beautiful.
not going to send it to the Guardian because they'll think it's me trying to make some anti-atheist remark. They'll think it's to do. You know when God said to Noah, "Oh no, we're going to have. I'll do a deal with you, and the symbol is a rainbow." That's what the Guardian think I'm getting at.
No, I don't know that reference.
Do you not know
but
that?
I'll take it from you because I'm
If
assuming
you
you've
have a
got it
listen
right.
to Absolute New Testament, actually Absolute Old Testament, I don't think they've got. I think Absolute New. I might have given the game away there. I think that one's still in. I think that's still work in progress.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I think Lucio's coming back to do the voice of Jesus. If I remember rightly. So anyway, that's I've let the cat out the bag. As I think Mary Bale once said.
Didn't she?
Talking of rainbows.
Yes.
I was going to say, Frank, I like a natural phenomena because I actually like a cloud formation.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
into cloud families.
Yeah.
I like a cirrus.
I like a clown formation.
Cirrus is the wispy, the little wispy, like Paul Daniels' hair, tiny little
Oh
thin
yeah,
wisps.
those little ones. It's
Those are
great
my
when you get a
favourites.
whole sky of those.
They're my favourites.
Yeah. Whole sky of Paul Daniels' hair.
I like the
The
ones.
Simpsons clouds are there's that
What are they
cumulus,
called? Are they
I think.
cumulonimbus?
Oh, Frank.
Oh,
I
sounds-
love it when you talk like that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
What, Latin?
Those are those the Simpsons clouds.
I must admit, I cannot see those clouds without going.
You can't do anything without doing that.
Put
No,
in an
you're right,
everyday
actually.
theme tune.
And I mean anything. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Yeah.
mackerel sky.
Pardon?
Yes, that's.
I like a mackerel sky.
What did you say to me?
It's another new channel on satellite. Mackerel Sky. I must
A
say
lot of Robson Green reruns.
they're a bit short on programmes there. They're scratching around for mackerel themes. But it's all right. You got every cloud. I nearly said then, but we were back to.
I like a rainbow, and I've seen the Northern Lights. I've seen the Northern Lights.
I imagine they're on your landing.
Of course, yeah. I mean the other ones, the famous ones.
You've seen them? Where did you see them?
The Aurora Borealis.
Oh.
Is it not?
He says
Yeah.
it right.
Yeah, that bloke that likes my voice is enjoying this podcast.
Oh, Ian. Let's call him Ian.
Let's call him Ian. Listen, Ian, I've seen the Aurora Borealis.
Oh, Ian. Ian has had to get up from his desk and say, I'll be back in a moment.
I don't think
Can we
he
say
could.
Ian is the office worker man who has a secret audio crush on the cockerel,
We think.
Cockerel
we don't know.
crush.
according to his mate.
Yeah. But yeah, we were in Canada, and it was really
Well,
nice.
can I just
the way-
say, just for Ian's benefit, we were talking before about Toby Jones.
Oh, yes.
Now let's listen to this, Ian.
Toby Jones.
I mean, that's classic cockerel.
I love
Toby
it.
Jones.
The actor Toby Jones.
He doesn't sound. You make him sound like Mr. Gradgrind in Hard Times.
People do a lot of that with my accent.
Do they?
Do they?
A lot of
Sorry.
people really. No, I didn't think you were over
Oh.
egging.
Okay.
I've occasionally clashed with people when they over egg it in a mocking way. It's like, come on, I don't talk like that.
No, you
But
should.
you and Frank are lucky, you see, because your accents, I think they give you both likability.
Well-
Whereas my accent makes me sound like a sort of nasty piece of work in Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
And this is
Weird,
the
that,
problem.
isn't
Frank, shut up.
yeah.
But you and Alan have got very likeable voices. I don't know, something about
Does
the-
you and Alan sound like a minor British actor?
Sounds like a Welsh actor, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah,
You
could
and
be.
Alan.
I think they're British, but they're still British, aren't they?
I meant specifically because of the Ewan thing.
Okay, I thought you'd heard a news flash just before we went on air.
There's a separatist Wales.
It's been annexed.
Yeah. But we saw the Aurora Borealis. We were in Canada years ago, my wife and I, and there was a really nice thing.
Old Mark Cockerel.
Yes, indeed, Mrs. Cockerell. And we were in this sort of place, and this guy came in at night.
You
And
should do a travelogue.
I should
We were
really.
in this sort of
we were in this
place.
place. Yeah. And I really liked the way he did it. Rather than say, you can see the Northern Lights tonight, he came in and he said, the lights are out for you to see tonight. It was like it was quite a nice way of delivering this good news.
Yeah.
The lights are here for you. So we went out and had a look. Really exciting.
See, me and David Baddiel went out with a guide in. A tour guide, not some
was
girl
hushed up
in
in
a
the
brown
tabloids.
tunic. And he said, "Well, he said it's not good night for the lights, but we'll take a look." I said, "What are you talking like that for, Dave?"
It's very exotic.
But no, we went in this 4x4 and there was a blizzard. I was terrified. There was this really steep hill and this bloke kept trying to drive up it and we kept sliding back down it. And I was going, no, it's all right, I'm happy to go home now. Forget the lights. But anyway,
David paid his money. He wasn't going anywhere.
no, exactly. But we never saw the lights.
Oh, that's a shame.
We were lights chasing,
Oh, that's
like
a
an
shame.
owl, because they chase lights, don't they? Is it lights that they used to call the offal from Small Creatures?
Oh, do they?
Yeah, my brother had an owl, and he used to get lights from the butchers.
Your
It was
brother had an owl?
in
Your
testing.
brother had an owl.
Yeah, my brother had an owl.
Oh, Terry.
Yeah, Harry. No, our Terry had an owl. Yeah.
What, a pet owl? That's probably illegal now,
I
isn't
think it might have been. I have to say, certainly the cage he kept it in was not correct.
Oh, I love our Terry with the
it?
owl.
An owl?
I don't know if you've ever seen an owl crouched because of the size of the cage. I mean, honestly, the owl was it was touching wire.
Oh, no.
It sounds like it was desperate for the time. It said to me, "I'm touching wing."
I'm going to have to
Excuse
go.
me.
Look away now.
You might
he
want to
couldn't.
leave it in the cage for a bit.
That's
I'm
the trouble
touching-
with their heads
I'm
doing the
touching down.
360. They
Isn't
can't
that
look
what-
away, can
A
they?
goose would say, "I'm touching down," wouldn't it? Thank God there was no geese involved in the space race, because that would have been very confusing.
Yeah.
I'm touching down here. What? There's 2 days to go, yeah? Yeah, he had we had...
Oh, our Terry's owl.
he had
Who
a
knew?
cage. He had a cage on top of the wardrobe in our bedroom.
I hope our Keith didn't keep livestock.
No, not
No.
deliberately.
It shows how much times have changed. Though, 'cause, I've got an owl, but it's an electricity monitor in the house so that I can go around turning lights off going, God, do we really need every light in the house off? It's up at 3.2 down there.
So it's not a real owl.
No, it's just called an owl.
Oh, I thought you meant
Things
you
are brand
kept one
new.
in case there's a gas leak.
You know, in the same way apples aren't apples. You know, there's apple and
Yeah.
orange, you know, brand names.
The owl
okay.
hasn't taken
I've never-
off in the same way, though. in
No,
fairness.
The owl hasn't taken off. The less successful sequel to The Eagle has landed.
Straight to video.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, I'd keep it away from your mice on your computer mouse.
Oh, yeah, the owl and
be
the
off.
computer mouse.
Yeah.
My favourite nursery rhyme.
Yeah, it's not bad. No, it's it used to screech because other owls would come and
Screech,
sit.
Saved by the Bell.
They'd sit on the trees outside our council house and screech. They knew there was an owl in there in captivity,
Oh.
and he used to screech. Because the trouble is with owls, obviously, they tend to knock around in the evening.
Yes.
So we settled down and go. There's three of us: me, Keith, and Terry in the
In that
bedroom.
relationship.
Yeah, there's three of us in our right, and the owl. And yeah, it used to got very noisy. In the end, my parents heard it because they didn't know it was in there.
It was a secret
It was in
owl.
a canary cage. It was the secret owl.
I've known you so long and I've never known about our Terry's owl.
It did know, yeah. I think that's why I have a strange sort of allegiance with Roy Hodgson since he's joined West Brom. He reminds me of that poor creature constrained in a tiny space.
You didn't tell this story to J.K. Rowling a little while ago, did you? Harry Potter's got an owl,
I
hasn't
know
he?
you come to mention it, actually. Yeah.
Funny how stuff like that happens. Just
Our
goes in
Keith and the
somebody's-
Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah.
I'd buy that.
Yeah. So, yes, what else?
Well, I've had a bit of a weird emphasis week. I've had a few... It's been very strange. Weird emphasis week, I should
Yeah.
really say. It's been very odd. There's been quite a few moments where I've realised people are saying things in a way that I think is a bit wrong. Like somebody said to me that they had a Swiss Army knife. And I think it should be Swiss Army knife. Because surely it's...
I agree, Cockerell.
The point of difference about it is that it's an army knife. It's not just a Swiss knife, is it? Swiss knife, Swiss Army knife.
Well, I think it depends. I mean, if they had a whole range of Swiss Army kit...
yeah, they were
a Swiss-
dressed all in red. With
You know, I've got a Swiss Army tunic, I've got a Swiss Army sleeping bed. I've got a Swiss Army Tantalus. And I've got a Swiss Army knife. That would be fine.
It was very strange, Swiss Army knife.
Because I did, this week, I was talking to someone about an African trip, and I said, yeah, I did it with Comic Relief.
Oh, right.
And I saw they looked a bit, and I thought, I don't know where I did that emphasis, Comic Relief.
Because funnily enough, I've noticed you've got another one. You
What's
do
that?
Star Wars, and I would do Star Wars.
Don't mention Star Wars.
Do I say Star Wars?
Yeah. Well, you have every time you've said it in my company, which has been lots and
Yeah.
lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah, I have got a few. I know Stephen, I always say Stephen Gerrard, whereas people always say Stephen Gerrard. I do.
It's strange.
Yeah, David
Gerrard.
Baddiel pulled me up on this. Why do you say that? It's weird. I think it's because there used to be a racehorse called Brigadier Gerard, and I've held on to that. Well, I had to. I mean, it would have been off.
The bolters, yeah.
It would have
I love
bolted.
Stephen Gerrard.
Stephen Gerrard.
I hate it when you walk into a clothes shop. That's the end of it. No. I hate it when you walk into a
I
clothes
hate it
shop
when you walk into a cloud shop, because I know I'm going to be there 2 hours.
and the man's... They do this a lot in men's clothes shops. They go, do you need any help at all? I
Oh,
can't
they
bear
do
that.
do that.
No, you just say, do you need any help at all? Why do you need any help at all?
Yeah.
It makes me sick. I
Very
can't
weird.
bear that.
And
But
then we
that-
had another one the other day where my mate said, my mate had been at our house overnight and my wife cooked a nice meal for us that evening. And
Lovely.
he wanted to say, I'll return the favour and you come to my house
Yeah.
and I'll cook something nice next time. But he got his emphasis wrong and he went, I'll cook something nice next time.
Oh,
It sounded
no.
like it had been disgusting.
Oh,
and I could
no.
see her considering taking his head off with a plate, but she didn't. She
With
she
a
just-
beak.
and then, this is the last one, I promise you, but this was the most traumatic of the lot. I bought the complete box set of the, what's his name, Richard Attenborough nature documentary thing.
you?
I know you don't like him.
Well, you got some sort of blood lost.
Well, I thought it would be good for Cockerell Jr. because it's sort of a bit of like, oh, we'll watch a bit of telly. So he thinks he's watching telly and it's a treat, but actually it's a nature documentary, so it's educational. And I was thinking some of it'll go in and I'll remember what animals do what. It'll be interesting. I'll
Yeah,
know
the
about.
image of lions hanging off the back of an elephant, I think that'll Have you seen that one?
Yes.
It's horrible.
Well,
I like that you talk about it like it's a Friends episode. Did you see the one where the lion...
But it's one of the most upsetting things I've ever seen on video,
Really?
and believe me, that's saying something. And I've seen animals hanging off the back of all sorts of things, but I had no idea that lions attacked elephants. I thought elephants were sacred. Well, they probably are somewhere.
well,
But I thought they were the sort of unacknowledged kings of the jungle.
well, this is the weird thing that happened. Was I said to Cockerell Jr., why don't we have a bit of the nature programme? And we put it on, and it's all going along nicely. But I noticed that Attenborough has got a weird emphasis. When he says orangutan, he says orangutan. And so he was talking about these orangutan, and he kept saying orangutan. I'm thinking, my whole week has been dominated by weird emphasis. And I'm starting to think, is this going to affect Cockerell Jr.? Is he going to grow up saying orangutan? And at that point, the orangutan found some smaller monkeys in a group, and they separated the parents.
Not
and one of them-
chimpanzees.
they snatched a child chimpanzee and ripped it apart. And they were ripping off this little monkey leg and eating and there's
what?
just
No.
fur and
I
blood.
thought they were nice.
And
So did I.
Cockerell
Orangutan.
Jr. was so traumatised.
That's
it was
it.
really upsetting.
Honestly, it's worse than than all the cops and robbers that we warned against.
Yeah, I turned it off and we played Grand Theft Auto. No, I mean,
Orange ootang.
orangutan.
Orangutan.
It's very weird.
Yeah. You sure it wasn't Peter Botang was involved? I've got some of his suits, very nice.
Is that not
Oswald.
Oswald? But
Oh, was that Oswald?
No,
Peter
you-
was the
Paul
MP.
Botang.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I've got
Oh.
the suits.
It's
What
gone
else
a bit
do I
Star
need?
Wars.
There's a few. But, you know,
Star Wars.
I always used to be troubled by Sven-Göran Eriksson talking about whether we would win the World Cup.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be playing in the World Cup. And I thought, that's rubbish. But then it kind of makes sense, because there's other cups.
Yeah.
There's not like... You wouldn't... we all say the World Cup, like there's world other things. There's a World Shield,
Yeah. I mean, there is a World Series.
a World Vase, World Cup.
The
But in
teacup.
fact, he's right. It should, because there's the European Cup, the FA Cup, the World Cup.
Yeah.
So he's right and we're wrong. I've often thought that about Sven-Göran Eriksson. Certainly on matters such as monogamy. And this week, I'm working at Hat Trick Productions. You may know them. They're a TV
Oh,
production
yeah.
company. And we're working on Room 101, which is, we're writing it.
You're all
stuff.
over that telly at the moment,
Yeah.
Frank.
Aren't you?
And there's a French runner. A runner is someone who makes, in case the listeners, someone who makes a tea and runs and gets you stuff, whatever you want. It's brilliant. Mm-hmm. The other day I said, you couldn't get me some banana Nesquik, could you? And a carton of milk. Off she went, there it was.
No way.
It's great. What a way to live. It's like being the Sultan of Brunei.
A bit.
Yeah.
Does he like banana Nesquik?
The Sultan of Brunei.
Yeah, is that his thing?
I don't know. I shouldn't think. Anyway, I'm not going to do that joke.
I don't think his tastes are quite so vanilla.
Is
Let's
that
leave
right?
it there.
Okay. Anyway, so she had like what I would call a harem pant on this woman.
Oh, Sultan of Brunei.
You know the harem pants with the elasticated bottom, obviously.
I think.
Do you know the one? Do you know the ones I mean?
Is it like a pantaloon?
It's a slight Aladdin vibe.
It's very Eastern.
Oh,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
she
yeah.
said to me, I said, are those? Would you call those harem pants? She said they're more Aladdin.
No.
And I thought she'd said Saladin. You know Saladin, the sort of the 12th century Arab leader. And I thought, God, that's a very precise
good
description.
reference,
Yeah. I believe he fought the Franks. So I don't know if it was if she was getting sarky. But then she meant Aladdin, obviously.
Oh.
But I presume that was a French thing. But it completely threw me. Aladdin?
Yeah.
What are you, out of your mind? My girlfriend says you're going to West Brom this weekend.
Oh,
Oh, who says West Brom?
I do.
nobody.
You do as well?
Says West Brom.
Maybe because I've heard Kathy saying it.
Maybe.
I used to go out with a girl who used to call them Brom. I see Brom one at the weekend. You can imagine.
terrible.
That didn't last very long.
This is over.
Yeah, that was a deal breaker.
So, Frank, never mind all that. I'd like to talk to you about a new initiative in Liverpool. Well,
Would you?
yes, I would.
Well, I'm sorry. Can you speak to my secretary and make an appointment?
Now, it's coming to London as well. This is... Have you heard about this? Talking bins.
Oh, the talking... Have I? Have I heard about it?
Oh, have you been
Yeah.
approached? Well, we should explain what it is, Frank, in case people haven't seen the story. Basically, they're going to be now, in order to encourage people to deal with litter responsibly, they're going to have bins where there'll be celebrity voices. Some will be singing. There's going to be... Phil Tufnell is going to be saying, "How's that?" Do you remember him? He had a...
What do you mean, remember him?
Well, no, he had a brief... No, but he had a little comeback. In
He's
the
still
early...
on the One Show.
Oh, is he?
Do you remember
that? No, but in the early 2000s,
And he's
he had
on
a
Question of
boost.
Sport. No, I would say he's at his best now.
Oh
He's
no!
still-
I'm a Celebrity was his finest hour.
What, the
Oh,
cat?
he's known for that one.
The cat
that
is
was
still
a
in
bit the
evidence.
governor for me. The cat.
No,
I
he
think
was.
it was forced
He
on
was
him.
called the cat when he was a
Terrible
cricketer.
nickname,
Ironically,
though.
Was he really?
yeah. He once buried his own excrement in the outfield.
Touch of the Peter Bonetti.
Yeah,
But you see, I think
I love a touch of the Peter Bennett.
I think you'd be quite good, Frank, on a bin. Like I can see.
Well, it's funny you should say that, actually, because, continuing the theme of the cat in the outfield, I'm the voice, in Battersea Park, I am the voice of a dog excrement bin.
You know.
I am.
What do you
No.
say?
I sing, Who Let the Dogs Out? Then I dry retch 5 times. Who let the dogs out? It's proved very popular.
Oh, it sounds it.
Some people are not even bothered with the plastic bags. Yeah. We had a dog just on the bin the other day. The dogs have started getting on the bin and doing it themselves. But their idea is to eliminate the middleman. No, I made that up. But
Okay.
I would do, because I feel very strongly about litter.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
I'm not sure though. I drink quite heavily, and I'm often in the street drunk with like a takeaway box. And I think if I start putting it in the bin, and the bin starts answering back whilst I'm a bit tipsy, it just could throw my world into turmoil. I won't know if
Well,
it's
that's
me
true.
or
We'll just
voices
throw
in
it
my
on the
head.
floor.
Yeah, exactly.
When I said I was strict on litter, I'm not Presbyterian about it. No,
Who could they get to do the bins, though? Who'd be relevant? Osama bin Laden was the only person I could
Yeah, he'd
think
have been
of.
good, but of course he's missed his...
What would he shout? Infidels.
They
I was
could,
missed his slot now.
He's missed his window.
No, but there's
There's no
lots of-
windows in his compound, was there?
There's lots of tapes of him at Al Jazeera. I'm sure they could do a sample.
Just,
Yeah.
take up the audio.
If I did it in the Black Country where I was brought up, then I could. There's the old Black Country men. I think there was a lot of German influence on the Black Country accent. Black Country, if you don't know, is sort of northwest of Birmingham, sort of Wolverhampton, I suppose.
I think Lisa
rather.
Stansfield.
Was she? No,
Yeah.
she's
Oh.
Lancashire.
Oh, I'm all over the shop.
But they say, Binya, for how are you? Binya. So you could have that, couldn't you, on a
that'd
bin?
be good, yeah.
Right.
Binya.
That's very good.
I could do the Yorkshire one. Where's the bin?
Yeah.
That's another one that they do.
Yeah.
Where's the bin?
I could do the London one. It would just be, please dispose of your litter considerately. Thank you.
Less friendly, innit, London? Less friendly.
I think it is a. I think it's a good idea if it makes people do it.
Yeah.
I wish I was more courageous. I have reprimanded people for dropping litter, but I mean I wouldn't do it to someone who looked even slightly G. Do you know what I mean? Gangster.
Gangster.
Oh, right.
Anyone who looked a bit hard. I let it, and I always feel bad after. I think, I wish I'd said, "Oh, excuse me, I think you dropped that."
Yeah. I
But,
would like to tell more people off for that. You're right.
You could have MTV bass bins, and they could be full of rappers.
Hey!
Right.
Good.
Good. Oh, what about Frank?
I'd be happy with a bin that did that, wouldn't you?
I reckon you could have Marquis Smith, because The Fall, with their immense back catalogue, I'm sure there is a song already that's something like Jib Rapper in the bin.
Can't they? But you could just have the rubbish go in, and Marquis Smith would go.
A bit Blackpool, isn't it? That'd be quite behind a Blackpool pier bin or something.
But we think it's a good thing generally, do we
Yeah,
not?
it's more work for Matt Berry, isn't it?
Oh, that's true. He must have been asked. Matt Berry,
Is he
the
still
voice.
the voice of Absolute?
Is he
rubbish in the bin. Oh, God.
absolute rubbish, you could say.
Absolute rubbish.
You're listening to Absolute Rubbish.
Frank.
You're right, Matt.
Now it's
was
got
Matt.
Nancy Delolio.
That was Matt Berry drowning.
I'll tell you another one that would be good. You could have an Alan Hansen bin. That is rubbish. That would be good.
Excellent.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Frank, I want a Nancy Delolio bin, only so I can hear you do a vague impression of her.
I can't do Nancy Delolio.
You do it inadvertently, and I always really like it.
I can. I imagine. I think I probably just used the transsexual from Big Brother.
Yes, that is reason.
I could do that one. What was she called?
She was called Nadia.
Nancy
Nadia.
DiLelio.
You sure she wasn't called Narnia?
With the rubbish in the
She
bin.
certainly came out the
34.
wardrobe. Don't put that on me, help me! Anyway. I could be the voice of Absolute Radio doing Narnia, don't you think?
Yeah.
Next time I'm on radio, Absolute, I love it! Stop it now. People listen to this on the tube, they're going to be afraid. They're afraid to get off. What else?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what else.
Will you?
Yes, I will. Were you aware that John Travolta? Well,
Yeah.
you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
I've seen John Travolta in the papers this week.
It's what I call a retro doppelganger incident, Frank.
I like that. RDI. Raquel.
That might have been the proudest moment of my life. I love you, boys. So he's been
It's a catchphrase.
a photograph has appeared of John Travolta in circa 1860.
Yeah, I don't know if it's him.
Well, I thought that, but the man's selling it on eBay, we should say, shouldn't we? It's $50,000, I believe. But no, the man does say very matter-of-factly, Frank, I believe this is the photograph of a very young John Travolta taken around 1860.
Yes, I think. Yeah, you do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, can I say I absolutely love any sort of look-alike story on a podcast.
You do like
Horses for. Not so much for courses, horses for squash courts is our motto.
Yes.
But I'm sort of. I've seen so many of these things on telly, magazines, on the internet, with two accompanying pictures next to each other to prove a point. And I must admit, I am starting to think now that some people do look like other people.
Oh, is that the conclusion you've come to?
Yeah.
Wow.
They've won me over. At first, I remained unconvinced, but now I've seen so many of these. I'm thinking, no, actually. When I was in Japan, we spent hours doing Japanese lookalikes, and they had to be Japanese people who looked like... but there was so many Brian Cloughs we gave up.
Is that right?
They're a nation of
Yeah,
Japanese
but how many
Brian Cloughs.
Nigels were there?
Nigel.
One over here.
Oh, yeah.
Nigel Clough, that was my lookalike.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Going on.
Frank, you've got...
I have to say the Travolta thing really, really looks like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got the same... He's got a little dimple. What is it called, that? Is it just a dimple? The chin dimple? I didn't know if it had a specific name.
Bomb
It's called.
chin.
I think it's called the chimple.
The chimple.
Yeah.
And he also... A little bit more hair, this one has, I think.
Yes.
Than the real one.
Well, I don't expect it to have the same hairstyle from 1870.
No, that's true. But there was a Nicolas Cage one as well.
I saw the Nicolas Cage one. That was less convincing. And also, the man said, at last, he said the picture proves that Nicolas Cage is a vampire, is what he said.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was waiting for some hard evidence to come up of that. And here it is, a picture of a dead bloke that looks a little bit like Nicolas Cage. Therefore...
Yeah.
If you disprove that theory, is that the final nail in the coffin? The vampire theory.
There's a lot at stake. Let's put it that way.
Very good.
You see, Frank, you've already got your lookalike, which is historical lookalike. It's 18th century economist David Ricardo
Of course.
is Frank's lookalike.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if I had £1 for every time someone stopped me on public transport and said, "You're not
You'd be David Ricardo.
Are you David? Has anyone ever told you look like David Ricardo, the political economist?" And I say, God, have they?
Yeah. You don't get a lot of public transport, though, do you? Sure.
Well, the last one I went on was a hansom cab, and I think this is what explains it. Yeah. Do you have you ever noticed you look like anyone from history apart from Nigel Clough?
Really?
A little bit middle-aged Elvis. My sister used to call me Elvis.
Oh, actually,
Slightly
now you
same
come to
nose
mention
and
it.
lip snarl. Both love a cape. No,
Cake. Yeah.
He loved a cake, didn't he? And the rest.
No, I've had Elvis. Look at Elvis, middle-aged Elvis, painkiller years, and
The coffin shot I'm thinking of.
Yeah, honestly, I do look a little bit like him.
I don't see it.
You don't see?
I think you'll be pleased to know I don't see it.
I've got quite a Tudor face as well. I'm often mistaken for a Tudor. Like
yeah.
Catherine Howard, Henry VIII, I think was his 5th wife.
Mistaken for, you say?
Yes. I get a lot of lookalike work.
These people, they need to sit down and think seriously about chronology.
Yes.
What about you?
I don't think I look like a historical figure.
I bet you do, but I bet it'll be
I'm just unaware.
poor Nobson, poor Nixon from Scandinavia.
You're so right, Frank.
Yeah,
There's
there must be
definitely a
there must be a famous old Scando who looks like you.
But I do have a friend who was inadvertently like a historical figure. We went to a fancy dress party, and my mate John had hired a Captain Hook costume with wig and coat and hook and everything. And then at some point during the party, we realised that he didn't have his hook. And people said, "What have you come dressed as?" Because it was a nautical theme, creatures of the sea. The fancy dress event was won by a couple of lobsters, and John had hired a Captain Hook costume and left the hook at home because he didn't like it. I mean, what sort of logic is at work if you hire a Hook costume, a Captain Hook costume? So he just turned up looking like Charles II. He looked in black curly wig, a bit Brian May, and he just looked like Charles II. And we were all going, "You're Charles II at a nautical themed fancy dress do." Great.
It's craziness. If
It is.
Abu Hamza had that sort of reticence, he would never have made the headlines.
The hook for a hand. Great.
We are Absolute Radio, and right now you're listening to Frank Skinner's section of the broadcast.
Absolute Radio.